Okay, so, you know what really gets me? It's my own writing. Gosh, I just want to rant about that all day today, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to answer a question. Shelly, you asked me this question about if I'm writing an Opus Magnum or working on one or whatever. And for those uneducated cretins as myself who did not know what that means, that is like your life's seminal work for an artist, whether it be, you know, any kind of artist, you have to be writing. And the example that she gave me was like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, and so it makes me think of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, or C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia, anything like that. And my only way to respond to that is, I think as an author, at least for me personally, I'm at least on the lowest level subconsciously working on my greatest project ever. I really feel like my Opus Magnum is the first piece I ever started. It was a fantasy piece that I started back when I was 20. It was going to be a 5-book series. And again, this is all that I had in my head. I didn't really know anything about writing at the time, so I was very presumptuous of myself that I could produce such a work as that. But you know, right now, I guess I technically know I'm not working on one, but I am really trying hard to get enough short stories together that I can get published so that I can put them all in a collection. I really hope that in the next couple of years I will have all of the short pieces, at least the short pieces themselves individually, published, even if it's independent press, you know, free publishing, not paid, token type publishing. But you know, I never really thought about an Opus Magnum before, about creating my work, my one big piece. I've never really thought about trying to make that. I mean, again, when I was attempting the fantasy book, it's like, this is going to be my rolling, this is going to be, you know, my chance to be this great author. And once I started it, and I got like halfway through the first book, and I realized it was terrible. And not the story itself, but the writing was bad. And the way I was approaching the story and the way that it was coming out on the page, it was just, it wasn't good. And so I feel like I abandoned the idea of an Opus Magnum, even though I don't know that's what it was at the time, but I think I abandoned that when I realized that that wasn't any good, and I finally learned to take criticism. Because I remember when my wife, she would read the chapters for me, and she was, you know, she would tell me they were good, but she wouldn't really tell me what she was thinking, because the one time she did, and it was like the first time, I asked what she thought, and it made me really angry and upset that it wasn't perfect. And even though I knew that my first drafts weren't going to be perfect, I still expected them to be. You know, I expected that of myself. And I feel like that's because all through high school, even though I wasn't an English person, I always got really good grades on my essays. I always got A's on them, and I didn't have to do draft after draft after draft. My first draft was basically what I turned in at the end. You know, you change some sentences, fix the grammar, whatever, but no huge revisions. And my writing still is that way, where I don't really revise a whole lot. Whatever comes out in the first draft, that's generally what stays there. I told you guys before, maybe I didn't, but I won the Basnella in 2009 at Sac State. And the story that I submitted there that got accepted is almost the exact same thing as the first draft of that story that I worked on and turned in the class that I did that piece for. So I'm really not that kind of a person. And so I really feel, when I realized that my fantasy novel series could not come out in one draft, I kind of abandoned the idea of an Opus Magnum, and I've never really thought about creating that type of project again. I mean, I want to go back to this story, and I've thought about it before and what I would change and how I'd make it better, but I've never thought about it being as big as I hoped it would be when I first started it. So I guess I don't have an Opus Magnum, nor do I anticipate ever creating one. But oh, nope, just kidding, not getting over. Not getting over. I don't know why I thought I was gonna get over. Stupid me. See, there's construction people, and I don't know why I thought I was gonna get over. They're fixing potholes, I guess. Anyway, but the idea intrigues me about creating my ultimate text, whether it be a novella, the short story, or whatever. I don't know. Any ideas what I could write it about? That'd be great. Leave that in comments, because I don't know. I think that's my big thing is, I don't know what my big thing is. I just, it's so, my writing has been suffering, and it's because of me, not because of anything else, but because of my inability to focus hard enough on my work and to stop letting things like TV and the internet and even the roadshow like get in the way of it. I don't concentrate hard enough. I want to, and I have the stories in my head and I'm always thinking about them, but for some reason, when I think of sitting down at the computer, it just, I don't want to do it. You know, every time I go to write, I don't want to do it. And then once I do, and once I'm going on it, it's great. And I sit there for 3 or 4 hours. I get out, 6 to 10 pages, and it's awesome, and I love it. For some reason, starting is so hard. Even if I'm in the middle of a story that I'm working on, going back to it and trying to work on it is just so frustrating. And it's not because I'm not a good author. I think that I am developing my talents and my skills, and I'm getting better. I don't know what it is. Do you guys have that same thing if you write? Do you have a hard time going to your stories and approaching them? I don't know how to get in the zone of writing. And again, any suggestions about that either, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really trying to figure out what it is that I need to be able to focus on my stories and get them written and out of my head onto the page. Because I feel like I can write the whole thing up in my mind really quick, but then when it comes to turning that language from synapses and electron pulses in my brain into language that comes out through my fingers onto a computer, there's some wall that interprets everything completely differently, and what I was thinking doesn't come out on the page, and I can't find the language in my mind to match the language on the page. And maybe that's my block between me writing and not writing. I don't know, there's a lot. But anyway, Opus Magnum, I never thought about it. I hope that I can have one. Whether it makes me famous or not, I don't care. I just hope that I can have one, and that the people that I respect and that I value as friends and loved ones in my life will respect the work that I do and think that what I do is important and valuable. And yeah, I guess I gotta start working on my Opus Magnum. So do you. Anyway, headed to roadshow dance practice right now. I'll give you guys a little bit of footage of that. And yeah, woohoo, the shins, yay! What? Try that again. Yeah, try that again. That was terrible. You guys are... It was awful, that's what it was. Like you're sitting in a chair.